seeing who we are a little bit differently.
Oh, I already have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about a time for self-reflection. My God. It's like, okay, and the quest is me.
The quest is healing ourselves and healing each other.
Yeah, well, you know, that's been a consistent theme.
Yeah. It's well, it's an invitation to the whole world to reset priorities, that's for sure.
Yes.
Well, Russ, I hope people got your email. Oh, here's Peg. Welcome. Good morning, Peg. Welcome.
Yeah, and Brian and Megan, I already started the recording just so stop to do that. So when you're at 10:30, when you're ready to begin, just go ahead and begin.
Well, I might give people a few more minutes, Russell, just because the email.
I would start on time. It's okay.
Well,
I love you.
Pardon?
I said,
Megan.
I love people who start on time.
Oh, okay.
It's like, oh, it encourages people to actually be on time.
We will start on time.
Excellent.
It's just that we messed up.
Well.
Oh, so nobody else has passwords too? Uh-oh.
Everything is all set, Megan, and we will start on time.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it is 10:30. So I will begin and welcome everybody. We're delighted that you've joined us at our Sunday morning coffee house. My name is Megan Moore, and I'd like to welcome you on behalf of the Center for Functional Nutrition. And I'd like to share our mission and vision with you this morning. Our mission is to better people's lives and to be a force for good in the world. Our vision is to create a world that works better for everyone through the principles and practices of functional nutrition, a more just, peaceful, and sustainable world through the biological transformation of humanity. So welcome everyone, sit back and enjoy with your favorite beverage, and I'd like to hand over the Sunday morning coffee house to Brian Mariani.
All right, thank you very much. Welcome everybody. We do have people that are continuously coming in, so as you do join, we welcome you. And today we have the great honor, privilege to connect with Margi Flint, and she is an absolute rock star just as a person. There she is waving. And she's literally been at the forefront of herbal remedies in terms of being a presence in the US. She wrote the textbook called the Practicing Herbalist, which is widely renowned as, you know, the foundational textbook in terms of learning. There it is right there. Thank you, Margi. She's also taught at the university level at a number of schools, including Tufts University in their medical program there. And she has her home practice in Marblehead, where not only does she work with clients and people in the community, but she also acts as a mentor for other practitioners who are doing things with herbs and things of that nature. So without further ado, I want to introduce Margi, and I'd love for you to just share with us, you know, how did this all get started for you, and you know what kind of took you on this path?
Okay, my herbal path began with my own illness. Well, I was 24 years old. I just had my 70th birthday, and when I was 24, I was told that I had a tumor in my pituitary and had a year and a half to live. So I didn't like that decision. So I rebelled, and I've been rebelling ever since. I did many things. I changed my diet. I got a spiritual path. I went to various types of healers, chiropractors, acupuncturists, herbalists. I met my herbal community. And when I did meet them, it was like coming home. It was like I'd met my people. And I've never left them, and they've never left me. So basically, the herbs have had their way with me ever since. You know, every room in my house has been taken over by herbs and education and product making and massage tables and biomats, everything. So, you know, it's a fabulous path, and clearly I lived.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's, you know, I think a lot of the most powerful teachers, you know, have some kind of story like that where,
Yeah.
you know, there was something big, like their life on the line. And, you know, when they figured out how to heal themselves, this kind of light bulb goes off where it's like, well, gosh, I got to share that, you know, with as many people as possible. And you've been doing that a long, long time.
It has been a long time.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And, you know, with everything going on, I think, you know, the question that is in everyone's mind is really, well, this thing has happened, the pandemic has hit, you know, we're still within it. And for someone like you who has, you know, decades of expertise, especially on really one subject, you know, what are you recommending to your clients, community, family, friends, in terms of what you know is the most helpful?
Brian, excuse me. I'm going to mute everybody, and then you're going to have to unmute your line. And Margie, you're going to have to unmute your line. There's some background noise.
Okay, unmute my line. Okay, how's that?
You're great. We can hear you.
Okay, excellent.
Thanks, Margie.
Thanks for that. It's the new way of communicating. Hi.
Yes.
Okay, well, the very first thing that I would recommend for people is to oil your nostrils. You know, the coronavirus comes in through our respiratory system. So if you oil your nostrils every day, every night, and if you go out into a public place, definitely oil them. First of all, you'll feel fabulous because it's so good for you. And it doesn't allow the virus to adhere to your nasal passages. So it's a very practical, simple thing. You can buy medicated Nasaya oil, or you can use sesame oil or coconut oil. Any oil you want to use is fine. Anything you have in your cupboard will do. So in preparation to go out, and using a mask is very practical if you go out into the world. We make a hand sanitizer that, you know, oh, that's not that. So we have to shake it because I put into it a little bit of jojoba oil. And so the oil has to mix with the alcohol. And then we have some essential oils and aloe vera. And we spray it onto our hands. Or if packages come in the mail, I mean, my mail carriers all use the hand sanitizer that I make because they like it better. It smells good, you know, and it doesn't dry your hands out the way the commercial things do. So that's a practical way, you know, and remember your steering wheel and your door handles and all those things. It's a little OCD behavior, but here we are. We have to be that way. And then the next thing I think is important for all of us is that to remember our entire planet is united in this event. We are all walking on the same earth, in this little round ball, this beautiful planet. And so Ian White, who is he owns Australian Bush Flower Essences, and he has a great formula for fear. So if people are dropping into fear, which is a simple thing to do, where we're all united in this. So 7 drops of a flower essence, whenever your fear arises, can be very helpful. And especially, you know, elders and children, anyone who's alone, this can be exceptionally helpful for. Other simple things, lemons, you know, lemon juice with some honey is going to, it's a simple way to have a hot beverage that is delicious and protects your respiratory system. This is honey from my own bees. So of course it's extra special because they hang out in my garden and I love them so much. There's nothing more beautiful than having a lot of little blonde Italians flying around. So, you know, eating well, I mean, am I preaching to the choir? It's like organic, local, grass-fed, wild-caught, farm-raised, you know. I mean, I have been eating this way really for 50 years, but some people are just starting with this and it might be harder to find it. You're out in Western Mass, so it might be a little bit easier for you. But nutrition is very important, and sleep. So we have all of those basics down. And then I have a product called Protect and Activate. And we did a lot of research from people who, from other parts of the country, not the country, the world, who were having success with COVID, and what were they doing? So the formula is, the foundation of it is an herb called Baikal skullcap. This is what it looks like. It's a yellow rooted herb, and it's actually delicious. It's a Chinese herb. It's a bit of an oxymoron to say Chinese herb and delicious in the same sentence, but this is really yummy. And we were delighted to get to know the flavor of this herb. And that you can drink as a tea. You need to put something that is a little mucilaginous and to keep it from being too dry. All the yellow roots are very drying. And they all trigger the action of your liver. So I put some licorice root and maybe some other demulcents in there. And we also have mullein leaf for your respiratory tract. If you look at the mullein plant, the leaf itself looks like a great big lung. And our lungs reach all the way to the bottom of our ribs. They're big. And we want to keep them breathing in oxygen and out. So how do we increase oxygen in our bodies? Chlorophyll. You know, if you consume chlorophyll-rich foods or take liquid chlorophyll, you know, Danielle Gagnon is a friend of mine. He has a company out in Santa Fe that they make a nice liquid chlorophyll little orb. And that's a nice way to add more oxygen in. So we need to breathe deeply. I use the mullein leaf, and sometimes I'll use the mullein flower. And what else do I have in there? Astragalus root. So astragalus goes to the deep immune system. It goes all the way into the bones, into the marrow. So, and I mean, I have it in tincture, but my favorite way to have astragalus root is to roast a chicken and put the astragalus roots underneath that chicken so that the fats merge with the astragalus and they have a synergistic action. And then that takes it into the deep part of you, into your bones. So astragalus root is a classic deep immune tonic. I also put calendula in because calendula helps to move the lymphatic system. So the best way to move your lymphatic system is to get outside or do TRX or do yoga or do something to keep your body moving. We're pumps and organs and we're supposed to keep it moving. But calendula will move that lymphatic system. And I think another yummy part of calendula is that it's used in all baby products. And right now, I think we all feel like big babies. You know, it's like, I want to crawl into the arms of my mother, you know. And so, you know, we're taking all that from Mother Earth instead. I also put a little bit of fenugreek in because it's slightly demulcent and it has an action on the kidneys. So we're finding that the kidneys are becoming impaired if you get the virus. So, you know, fenugreek, you know, it is a delicious, it's sort of nutty tasting. So it gives it an unusual flavor. It's a pretty good tonic. So we have Bacal, Isatis. Did I say Isatis? Isatis is a yellow flower that makes indigo. You know how St. John's wort has a yellow flower that makes red oil? And I believe that St. John's wort is probably interchangeable with Isatis. So I'm going to experiment a little bit with that in the, you know, in July when it's blooming. We'll see what happens. And then I add in a little bit of a glycerite for its calming. So it'll either be rose or milky oats. So rose or milky oats or lemon balm. And those are glycerites, so they're in vegetable glycerin. And it makes it so when you take the tincture, it's more kind to your mouth. You know, it makes the medicine go down easier. And depending on the person, we sort of just tune into the person and figure out which one would be best for them. So that is protect and activate. And you only need to take a ½ teaspoon daily. And you can put it into a glass of water, a cup of tea, but COVID doesn't like heat. So it's best at this time to drink hot beverages. So putting it into something warm is going to be more beneficial than any iced drink. And iced drinks aren't good for you anyway. Okay, and then we have many of those ingredients as a tea if people don't want to consume alcohol. You know, I live in Marblehead, Massachusetts, so it's like we have more AA meetings than, you know, it's like the church here. So so I always have a tea equivalent for any tincture that I make, so that you don't have to consume alcohol if you can't. And then we did the flower essence and we did the spray. So if you end up getting the first sign of a cough, treat it immediately. Do not hesitate for a second. And what people have been doing with me is, you know, like a family might order the Protect and Activate and just a small bottle of a cough syrup, maybe 2 ounces, so that if they get a cough, they have it with them in a small quantity so that I can, you know, run something over or ship it to them but they're treated right away. So the cough syrup is honey and wild cherry bark, a classic cough remedy, thyme. thyme is antiseptic. Most people have thyme in their kitchen. If you get a cough and you don't have anything, you can use your cooking herbs. So thyme, oregano, basil, all those herbs have essential oils, volatile oils, and they will come into your body in a good way to protect you. You can also use all of those herbs and maybe even add chamomile to it as a steam, so that you, if anyone hasn't ever done an herbal steam, you just take a handful of your cooking herbs or any aromatic herbs and put them, pour boiled water over them, cover it, let that steep, and then put a towel over your head, over the pot, off the stove. Do it at a table. Do not set yourself on fire. And you inhale the steam, and it goes up into those tiny nasal passages, so that if the COVID has entered into your respiratory system, you can encourage it to leave. So remember, oiling the nostrils and steaming are two simple things you can do without purchasing anything special. You know, most people have cooking herbs, or even now the thyme is coming up in my garden. So I have thyme and sage, and, you know, herbs are appearing abundantly. Lemon balm's already here. So we have the steaming. So then the cough syrup has thyme, chamomile. I use Monarda fistulosa. It's in the bee balm family. And Monarda fistulosa, the signature for that is anything that burns. So whether it's burning sinuses, when you have COVID, it feels like your bones are burning. It's a little different than a regular flu. It really is like you're the oven and your bones are on fire. And the cough syrup is what we've had most people say, yeah, the herbs are fine, the tinctures are fine, but that cough syrup, that really gets rid of those symptoms that are hurting so much. So Monarda is for burns of any kind. And then mullein, again, mullein flowers, and elecampane. Elecampane, if you don't know it, is a very tall plant, and it's very statuesque with yellow flowers, and it reaches for the sun. And sun is very beneficial for all of us during this time. If the sun comes out, you go out, because the sun will heal you. You know, I do feel like we photosynthesize. You know, I need to have sun or I'm not a happy person. So that is basically the cough syrup. And we have one with alcohol and one without alcohol. The one without you have to keep in the fridge and it will go bad quicker. Do I have any questions at this point, or should I just keep talking?
I think that's brilliant, Margie. That was a very brilliant, you know, very clear and distinct example of a number of very practical things people can do, and then, you know, some of the more technical, scientific stuff, you know, when it comes to herbs. And I'm sure that there are questions, and I think maybe we should open it up for that at this point. And then also, your website was on the invite that we sent to everybody, and I've spoken with you, and you've said that, you know, people are more than welcome to go to the website.
Yeah.
They can contact you after this coffee house and get some of those, you know, just some more detailed answers. But I think Russell actually wants to start off the questions here. Go for it.
Thanks, Brian. Thank you, Margie. That was awesome. Really comprehensive in scope and very reassuring to people. So thank you very much. I think the only basic that I didn't hear was hydration, and I'm sure you're
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah.
totally supportive of that. But literally, you hit everything else, which was really important for me to hear. And
Yeah, I'm a half your body weight in ounces. Yeah.
yeah, I knew Dr. B personally,
Cool.
medical doctor who brought us the water cure. So my question is this: in your explanation of all the herbal remedies that you were suggesting, I've always understood tonic herbs and then stimulant herbs and sedating herbs. So you say that most of the remedies that you talked about were tonic herbs, or how do you make those distinctions?
Well, I mean, what I have found in life is that herbs, like people, when they're put together, they change positions and actions. You know, like in a family, usually you have one who's the peacemaker, and then somebody dies, and then everybody shifts roles, and somebody else becomes that person. So it depends on the formula, each one, as to which action the herb has, because herbs are often have many actions. Yeah.
So would you say, you know, the word that comes to mind is adaptogen, adaptogenic?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in other words, what you just said is because of idiosyncrasies and, you know, biological differences, the herbs themselves will adapt to the body as needed.
Yes, and the body will take the herb in the way it needs to be taken.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
That was a great question. Thank you very much.
We would expect that.
Yeah. Looks like we got Carol Patty from New York. Go for it, Carol. Just unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you, Margie. I really enjoyed what you shared. I wanted to know, can you hear me?
Yep, I see where you are now.
Oh, okay. I wanted to know what essential oils you use in your hand sanitizer,
Okay.
and how you can actually make that if we wanted to at home.
Sure. Let's see, what did I put in there? I put, in a 1 ounce bottle, you would put 1 drop of red thyme, 1 drop of white thyme, probably 4 drops of Ravensara. I'm making this up now because I don't have my notes in front of me.
What was that? 4 drops of?
Ravensara. It's an antiviral essential oil.
Huh.
And Naoli, which is hard to spell, N-A-O, I can't spell it.
L-I?
Maybe.
That's okay. We'll look it up. You just
and probably aloe.
This is being recorded, so you describe it, and then we can check our notes later.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, but they are pretty, many essential oils are antiviral just by being an essential oil. But Ravensara and Naoli are specific, and thyme whacks out COVID. But you do not want to ever use thyme directly on the body, and it needs to be in very small drop doses. So do not use a lot of thyme. It can burn you, and it needs to be used responsibly.
Awesome. Thank you. Great question, Carol. Let's see. Do we have anyone else? Just raise your hand. Give me a wave. Unmute yourself. All right. We got Mr. Ron Kofker. Go for it.
Hey, Ron.
Margie, thanks so much for coming on Coffee House, and thank you, Brian, and Center for Functional Nutrition to bring you on, because I've known you for many years from Marblehead, and it's just great to have you be willing to share your vast knowledge. You're really an asset here, so thanks again.
Yeah, it's all about sharing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ron. Yeah, that must be very cool. for you both to be in this space together. And thank you, Ron. You made this possible, you know,
Yeah,
for Margie
totally.
to be with us today. So that's awesome. Thank you for the comment. Anybody else with a question? Give me a wave. All right, awesome. Well, to respect all of our time, Margie, thank you so very, very much. That was gracious and beautiful, and so much value. And Margie really is, she's in service to the planet. She's in service to people. And we're very grateful to have you. And please, you know, her website is just jam-packed with information. And go there and connect with her. So,
Brian, Mom wants to say something.
Yeah, there is
Megan
another,
wants to-
I think that,
that's okay. We're going to move on for the sake of
Oh.
time. So thank you, Margie. And we always like to
cut your mom off.
we always
I
like
think-
to wrap up our coffee house with just some really great news. We've had a lot of great news from Margie. That was brilliant. But we do like to share something on the more of the artistic side. You know, sometimes it's a song, a poem, a piece of artwork, just to bring out that flair in our community here. And I'm so absolutely excited to share with you all a dear friend of mine, Mary Harris, and she is just such a light in my life. And Mary is one of the most talented people I know. She's an actress, she's a singer, songwriter, speaker. She thinks of herself as a lover of life, and she definitely is. You might start to see her smiling there. She performs internationally, singing, acting, speaking on stages and concert halls. She's actually been in a few movies. I think she has a movie coming out in the fall that's a pretty big time one. So I'm just thrilled to share with you and introduce you to Mary, and I'm excited to see what she's going to do for all of us today. So Mary, the stage is yours. Go for it.
All righty. It's great to be here. Can you hear me just fine? Good. Oh, I'm going to take a deep breath. Will y'all take a deep breath with me? We'll just take some deep breaths. So much great information, so much great love. I can feel it. I feel the vibration. I'm going to do something here, Brian. I'm going to play the sound music and see if it works.
I'll give you thumbs up.
Okay, good. Okay, this is a song I wrote called Where I Am Today. And I just invite you all to think about how fabulous you are. Where I was a year ago and where I am today certainly aren't the same place. One seems like years away. Where I am today and where I'll be tomorrow certainly aren't the same place. There'll be lots more joy, a little more sorrow. There's something very special about where I am today. The reason I arrived here are the steps I took along the way. If I had not started my journey and gotten lost along the way, I never would have arrived here where I am today. You feel me? I feel you. The people and the places, the wondrous things I've seen, the many times I've loved and lost, the people that I've been, The trips I took inside myself to rise up to the top. The trips I take time and time again, 'cause my growing never will stop. There's something very special about where I am today. The reasons I arrived here are the steps I took along the way. If I had not started my journey and gotten lost along the way, I never would have arrived here where I am today. I never would have arrived here where I am today. I never would have arrived here where I am today. Thank you, darling. Thank you.
Mary, thank you for your incredible light and your joy, and what a way to wrap up. That was absolutely wonderful. And so before we all unmute ourselves, thank you so much, Mary. Thank you so much, Margi. Thank you all for being here with us. And this is such an incredible community, and we're all up to just an incredible game together of sharing and giving. And I just thank you all, and I appreciate you. So let's all unmute and say hello and goodbye, and have an absolutely wonderful Sunday, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Margi.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Margi.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
That's it, Russell. Love.
Yeah, nice.
Beautiful.
Oh.
Hi, Mary.